Hello all, so today we are continuing our discussion in Chapter 2. We're looking primarily at the balanced diet and nutrient density. So, let's get started. One of the major concepts advanced by nutritionists over the years to teach proper nutrition is that of the balanced diet, one containing a variety of foods that provide us with the wide variety of nutrients essential to life. Early food guides in the 1940s had little focus on healthful nutrition, mainly because the role of nutrition in chronic disease prevention was not a major research focus. However, as such research developed in the 1950s, food guides began to evolve and promoted healthier eating practices. In accordance with this concept, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, in its recent position statement on the total diet approach to healthy eating, indicated the diet should focus on variety, moderation, and proportionality in the context of a healthy lifestyle. Today's concept of a balanced diet. As noted previously, the human body needs more than 40 different nutrients to function properly. The concept of the balanced diet is that by eating a wide variety of foods in moderation, you will obtain all the nutrients you need to support growth and development of all tissues, regulate metabolic processes, and provide adequate energy for proper weight control. You should obtain the RDA or AI for all essential nutrients and adequate food energy to achieve a healthy body weight. Although everyone's diet requires the essential nutrients and adequate energy, the proportions differ at different stages of life cycle. The infant has needs differing from those of his grandfather, and the pregnant or lactating woman has needs differing from those of her adolescent daughter. There are also differences between the needs of males and females, particularly in regard to the iron content of the diet. Moreover, individual variations in lifestyle may impose different nutrient requirements. A long-distance runner in training for a marathon has some distinct nutritional needs compared to a sedentary colleague. The individual trying to lose weight needs to balance calorie losses with nutrient adequacy. The diabetic individual needs strict nutritional counseling for a balanced diet. Thus, a number of different conditions may influence nutrient needs and the concept of a balanced diet. Although the RDA, AI, and AMDR provide us with information relative to the nutrients we need, they don't guide us in appropriate food selection. Thus, over the years, a number of educational approaches have been used to convey the concept of a balanced diet to help individuals select foods that will provide sufficient amounts of all essential nutrients. In essence, foods with similar nutrient content were grouped into categories. In the past, foods were grouped into the basic 7 or the basic 4 food groups, but today there is some consensus that 6 general categories of foods may be used to represent the grouping of various nutrients. Although different terminology may be used with various food guides, the 6 categories are dairy, protein foods, grains, vegetables, fruits, and oils, and empty calories. Table 2.3 lists some of the major nutrients found in each of these 6 food categories. So what is the My Plate food guide? The most recent government food guide designed to provide sound nutritional advice for daily selection is My Plate, developed by the United States Department of Agriculture, or USDA. They originally published guidance on food selection in the 1900s. In the 1940s, the Basic 7 Food Guide program was published, which was changed to the 4 Food Groups program in 1956. The 1979 Hassle-Free, which was changed, Daily Food Guide featured the basic 4 food groups, but also suggested moderate intake of a 5th group, consisting of fat, sweets, and alcohol. In 1984, the Food Wheel was established, which featured the 5 groups that form the basis of the Food Guide pyramid, which existed from 1992 to 2011. In addition to the food groups included, it graphically illustrated how variety, moderation, and proportion were important for healthful eating. My pyramid evolved to include physical activity in the slogan, Steps to a Healthier You. The most recent food guide is My Plate, which represents the 2015 Dietary Guidelines for Americans. Healthy Canada has developed a similar program, Eating Well with Canada's Food Guide, as have many other countries. One concept of balance focuses on the macronutrients, from which we derive our food energy. Although an RDA for protein had previously been established, the National Academy of Sciences has since released DRI for carbohydrate, fat, and protein as a guide to provide adequate energy, but also to help minimize the risk of chronic disease. For adults, the AMDR should be composed of approximately 45 to 65% carbohydrate, 20 to 35% of fat, and 10 to 35% of protein. Similar percentages are recommended for children, except that younger children need a slightly higher percentage of fat. Carbohydrates are found primarily in the grains, vegetable, and fruit groups, but also in beans and sweets listed in other categories. Protein and fats are both found primarily in the protein foods group and the dairy group, while solid fats and added sugars are major components of the oils and empty calories group. Two contemporary food guides using a 6-level classification system are MyPlate and the Food Exchange System. MyPlate is designed to be simple yet motivational, with the intent to help individuals make healthier lifestyles choices relative to diet and exercise. Serving sizes for each food group are presented in Table 2.4. While key points of MyPlate is to make changes in your diet and physical activity levels gradually or in small steps, one at a time. MyPlate is a comprehensive program including many features to help promote health through proper nutrition and physical activity. So there are numerous features of the Choose MyPlate website that can be found under the menus on the top and bottom of the page on your computer screen, including the following: food groups, which gives detailed information on fruits, vegetables, and other food groups; MyPlate videos on cooking and other topics; healthy eating on a budget, hints for grocery shopping and cooking; Super Tracker, analyzing your current eating and physical activity habits; and 10-tip nutrition education series that are 10 tips to help you eat healthier. There are healthy menus and recipes, including tips from the White House chefs; daily food plans, personalizing your daily meals; and audiences, depending upon whether you're trying to develop a plan for dietary information for preschoolers, pregnant women, dieters, and others. There are also educational materials such as handouts, videos, and lesson plans for teachers and health professionals, as well as other additional information, resources to obtain more details on various aspects of healthful nutrition. The beauty of MyPlate is, as the name implies, it is designed to individualize dietary recommendations. Here's what you can do when you access the MyPlate website. You can click on the text in the Super Tracker box and then click on Create Profile. You are asked to input your age, gender, height, weight, and activity level. You will be provided with a dietary plan based on your predicted daily caloric expenditure. To modify your personalized plan, you can select one or more of the 5 goals, whether it's weight management, physical activity, calories, food groups, or nutrients, to modify your daily caloric recommendation. You can also sign up for My Coach Center to send you messages in support of achieving your goals. You can use Food Tracker to record your daily food intake and compare it to your goals, as well as the Physical Activity Tracker to record your daily levels of activity and progress toward your weekly goals. You may use Foodopedia to get quick access to nutrition information for over 8,000 foods, and you can choose and compare 2 foods. You can generate a variety of reports such as average intake of food groups and calories for any period of time, your average intake of various nutrients such as calcium, your weekly physical activities compared to physical activity guidelines for Americans, and a graph charting your history of food intake and physical activity. So what is the Food Exchange System? It's a food guide similar to MyPlate. It's a grouping of foods developed by the American Dietetic Association, the American Diabetes Association, and other professional and governmental health organizations. Foods in each of the 6 exchanges contain similar amounts of calorie, carbohydrate, fat, and protein. As with the My Plate Food Guide, eating a wide variety of foods from the various food exchanges will help guarantee that you receive the RDA for essential nutrients. The basic content of the 6 primary food exchanges is presented in Table 2.5. There are several differences between the food groups in My Plate and the food exchange list. First, the milk exchange list has 3 levels based on fat content. Second, cheese is found in the meat and meat substitutes exchange list. Third, the meat and meat substitutes exchange list has 4 levels based on fat content. Fourth, the starch exchange list includes starchy vegetables. Fifth, nuts and seeds are found in the fat exchange list. A detailed list of common foods in the various exchanges may be found in Appendix D. The food exchange system was developed for diabetics and for weight control, but it also can be used as the basis for a healthy diet because it may be an effective means to judge the caloric content of foods during a weight management program. It's covered in greater detail in Chapter 5. And then this is just an example of what that looks like. If you look at the milk, it's classified in the skim and very low fat, as well as low fat and whole. And then you've got the breakdown of meat substitutes and your starchy vegetables, fruit, and fat. This table presents some common examples of foods within each of the 6 food exchanges. As discussed in the text, however, you should select food wisely among exchanges and within each exchange. For example, you want to avoid excessive amounts of calories and saturated fats, you should select skim milk. Lean meats such as skinless turkey and chicken, or water-packed tuna fish, low-fat yogurt, and low-fat soft tub margarine. So what is the key concept for obtaining a balanced diet? As already noted, humans require many diverse nutrients, including 20 amino acids, 13 vitamins, and more than 15 minerals. To plan our daily diet to include all of these nutrients would be mind-boggling. So, simplified approaches to diet planning have been developed. The nutritional composition of food varies tremendously. If you wish, you may evaluate the nutrient content of your favorite foods on the MyPlate website, or for more information, you can go to the USDA website. As mentioned before, the nutrient content of foods vary considerably, and the differences between food groups are more distinct than the differences between foods in the same group. Nutrient density is an important concept relative to the proportions of essential nutrients such as protein, vitamins, and minerals that are found in specific foods. In essence, a food with high nutrient density possesses a significant amount of a specific nutrient or nutrients per serving compared to its caloric content. We refer to these as quality calories. There are 8 nutrients that are essential to human nutrition. Those are protein, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, vitamins A and C, iron, and calcium. When found naturally in plant and animal sources, these nutrients are usually accompanied by other essential nutrients. The central theme of the key nutrient concept is simply that if these 8 key nutrients are adequate in your diet, you will probably receive an ample supply of all nutrients essential to humans. It is important to note that the key nutrient concept to work, you must obtain the nutrients from a wide variety of minimally processed whole foods. For example, highly processed foods to which some vitamins have been added will not contain all the trace elements such as chromium that were removed during processing. So let's look at an extreme example between 2 different food groups. Consider the nutrient differences between 6 ounces of baked yellowfin tuna, which is meat or in a meat substitute exchange, and 6 strips of fried bacon, which is a fat exchange. Each contain about 220 calories. The tuna fish would provide a young adult female with 100% of her requirement for 2 key nutrients, protein and niacin, along with substantial amounts of several other vitamins and minerals, but very little fat. The bacon would contain less than 25% of the protein requirement and about 10% of the niacin requirement. The greater amounts of total in fat. Hence, the tuna fish has greater nutrient density and considerably greater nutritional value. Another example is presented in Figure 2.6, which compares the nutrient density of milk and sweetened cola. So if we look at the comparison of the nutrient density of a sugared soft drink with that of non-fat milk, both contribute fluid to the diet. However, choosing a glass of non-fat milk makes a significantly greater contribution to nutrient intake in comparison with a sugared soft drink. An easy way to determine nutrient density is to see how many of the nutrient bars in the graph are longer than the energy bar. Energy, which is looking at calories bar. The soft drink has no longer nutrient bars, whereas the non-fat has longer nutrient bars for protein, vitamin A, thiamine, riboflavin, and calcium, including many nutrient-dense foods in your diet aids in meeting nutrient needs. So if you look at the comparison of other two food groups, meat and meat substitute exchange, you can consider the nutritional data for 3 ounces of fresh yellowfin tuna. It's one of my favorite foods. And 3 ounces of raw eastern oysters. The 3 ounces of yellowfin tuna, of course, you're looking at protein. It provides about 93 calories. And the oysters, the 3 ounces of eastern oysters, they provide about 43 grams of protein. So per serving, both of these seafood choices are relatively low in calories and good sources of protein and iron. Although the tuna contains more than twice the calories as oysters per serving, it also contains more than 4 times the amount of protein. And although the tuna is a relatively good source of iron, the oysters contain nearly 6 times as much iron per serving and more than 12 times as much based on the calories. These examples illustrate the need to consume a wide variety of foods among food groups and within each food group to satisfy your nutrient needs. Several groups offer tools to help increase dietary nutrient density. Yale University Griffin Prevention Research Center developed an overall nutritional quality index, or ONQI, which rates individual foods on a scale from 1 to 100 based on nutrient content and effects on health concerns. For example, broccoli scores 100 while soda scores 1. The ONQI serves as the basis for the NuVal nutritional scoring system to rate foods in some supermarkets. So will using the MyPlate Food Guide or the Food Exchange System guarantee me optimal nutrition? If you use the key nutrient and nutrient density concepts, MyPlate or the Food Exchange System may be an effective means to obtain optimal nutrition and help sustain a healthful body weight. However, although the MyPlate Food Guide and the Food Exchange System represent a significant improvement over previous food guides to help ensure proper nutrition, both have some flaws if foods are not selected carefully. For example, individuals who predominantly choose the high-fat and high-sugar foods from among the food lists may be more susceptible to the development of chronic health problems. Although the MyPlate figure by itself does not include which foods may be healthful or unhealthful, the accompanying guidelines do. For example, the guidelines presented in Figure 2.4 provide suggestions for selecting healthier foods and limiting less healthful foods. More detailed information concerning healthful food selection is presented on the MyPlate website. Some modifications of MyPlate, such as the Harvard Healthy Eating Plate, as well as other healthy eating plans such as the Mediterranean and DASH diets, focus on healthy food selection. Basically, most healthy eating plans attempt to reduce the consumption of or modify the type of fat to increase the consumption of whole grain products and to increase the consumption of plant products, particularly beans and other legumes, fruits, and vegetables. And that ends our session for today. We will be picking up. It will be Chapter 2 again. We'll be continuing that. And I will talk with you soon. Thanks for joining me today.